All right, guys from Facebook, my family from Facebook, I'm doing a live video right now with Tyler and Matt from Keller Williams. You guys want to just go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name's Tyler McMillan. I am the Director of Marketing for Legacy Star. We're a team within Keller Williams, and I'm really lucky to be here with Juan and Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Absolutely. My name is Matt Swerk. I am the lead agent for Legacy Star. Like Tyler said, that's our team within Keller Williams. Very, very excited to have you on our second episode of our podcast. Really excited to have Tyler here as well. He's, the man behind the mask or the camera, if you will. Has just been an incredible addition to the team since he started. So we're really grateful to have him.
No, and I want to take some time to thank you guys for inviting me on and wanting to hear what I have to say. And I'm just ready to dive into it. So let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Tyler, sorry to steal your thunder. I know, Juan, your job has probably changed a little bit as far as doing a lot more research and really sifting through all the confusion and chaos to get the right message out to the public. And that's one thing, just as far as meeting you and working with Premier Mortgage. You're all about value add, right? You're all about, really being there for us and our clients to help, deliver an A++ experience. And so I'm grateful to have you in our network and to be working with you, and I'm pretty excited. So
thank you. We really appreciate it. And like you said, that's what we're all about. We're all about making sure that we are providing you guys with as much value as possible. That way you guys can grow your business.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, Juan, I don't know, I had the privilege a couple months ago to be invited to your grand opening up at your office up at 25 Pelham Road up there in Salem. You guys pulled out no stops with that. I want to thank you for that night because, that event was packed. I mean, you guys, it was unbelievable, seeing the spotlights, we pull up to the building and what I really appreciated, and Yun had the same feeling, was that even though there was so many people in there, you made us feel like we were the only ones there. And you took us through to really, make some great connections with some people that in the industry. It was great to meet Mike Comerford, who's the owner of that business. And, I know the four of us, Mike's wife as well, make it five, had talked about, we just had such a great conversation. Like I said, as far as our mindset and our vision, we just said, these are people we want to hitch our wagon wheel to and have a great experience.
Thank you.
I think so, Juan. We have a lot of questions for you. I mean, there's a couple of things that we want to cover today, but selfishly, I'm going to start the question because I'm a first-time home buyer right now.
Yep.
And I know there's going to be a ton of people out there that are wondering, is this the right time to buy a home? Some people that might have just bought a home that are a little bit worried. How do you feel about the market right now? And what do you think is happening with these mortgages? What's happening with the overall market? Is it crashing? What do you think?
Okay, so that's a pretty loaded question, right? That can have tons of answers depending on who you talk to, right?
Yep.
So I'm not going to sit here and say that I know all of the changes that are happening because I'll be lying to you. Changes are being done on the hour, every other day. As the unemployment rate increases, all the lenders are making changes. So it's a very big question to answer, but I'll give you my perspective of it. And actually something that me and Matt were talking on the phone prior to getting onto this live video was that I am lucky to be a broker and be able to see not just the reaction of one particular lender, but the reaction of many lenders as a whole, right? So I've been seeing how a bunch of significant lenders are dealing with this current situation different, but at the same time, very similar. We are seeing that a majority of the lenders are tightening up on the government loans, so meaning USDA loans, FHA loans, VA loans. The reason for that is there's no liquidity right now in the markets. Servicers are afraid of what's happening right now. So they're being really cautious as to how they lend money. It's understandable. So I mean, it is what it is. We just got to adjust to it. With regards to opportunity of being a home buyer, right now, it's actually probably the best opportunity that you're going to come across, because in the times of fear, unfortunately, is when those are prepared get ahead. And we've seen it time after time after time, economic cycle after economic cycle, we've seen it happen where the ones that are prepared and I'm not feeding into the fear are the ones that win. Sure, we do have to be really cautious. Absolutely. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. So we do have to be really cautious. But with that being said, don't let the fear stop you from your investments. Right now is a time where no one wants to go look at a house. Right now is a time where no one's thinking about real estate for majority of reasons. You know, the fear of maybe losing your job tomorrow, the fear of one of your family members contracting the virus. Hopefully, you know, no one around us does, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if you can take advantage of that opportunity, you're gonna win big.
Yeah.
I think I've had last week 4 different agents, 4 different clients call me, say, hey, we're gonna submit offers. Literally the day after, I get the PNS because no one's submitting offers. So
Yeah.
if we can focus on the positive outcome of this, you will win.
Yeah. And Matt, have you been seeing with some of your clients, have you had some clients that are really taking advantage of this? Some of your more prepared clients, what have you been seeing?
You know, it's interesting, Tyler, because when this hit, you know, it was immediately jumping on the phone and talking to everyone that either had properties under contract, just starting the process. And as I got through working, you know, with everyone that's active clients right now, and then started to talk to some of the people that are, you know, connected to us, most of the question, you know, we were just checking in to make sure they're okay and see what they needed, right? I was really, you know, I was really excited because this past week I was on the phone with someone and, you know, when I just said, listen, is there anything you need? And she almost started breaking down and she said, Matt, thank you so much for calling. I haven't, you know, she was looking to buy a multifamily and she kind of disappeared. She had some challenges. And so, and I just stayed in contact with her, you know, really, really great woman, nice family. And she said, you know, thanks for thinking of us. And I said, of course, you know, I said, I'm just, you know, reaching out to see, you know, is everything okay? And she said, well, as you remember, you know, I care for my grandmother and my mother. They have respiratory, you know, challenges to begin with. I'm really afraid. She's like, I can't get Purell. I can't get toilet paper.
Oh, geez.
So immediately I was like, all right, you know what? Like, let's jump into action here and see what we can do to get you situated. So started going through different channels and looking to get supplies for her. So that was really exciting to be able to help out, you know, again, just looking to add some value. The conversation typically comes back to, well, geez, you know, how are you doing and what are you doing with real estate? You must be, you know, stuck in the water. And so what's interesting is that everyone is still moving forward, right? As far as the world that we're in right here, right now, we've never experienced anything like this. This is new to us. However, challenges with the economy, challenges with the housing market, we've worked through those as a population. And as humans, you know, we adapt pretty quickly as having the right mindset. And I definitely want to talk to Juan about mindset. So, you know, it's really just educating, you know, people. What's interesting is you watch I don't pay attention to the news. Juan, I know you don't pay attention to the news.
We talked about that.
Yeah, it's like, you know, listen, you know, we got to shield out all that negativity, and there is bad things going on in the world. And there are a lot of people that are just stuck to, you know, their TV watching this second by second. And I think it's really unhealthy.
Oh, super unhealthy. It's probably the worst thing that you can possibly do right now. I mean, we know it's happening. We know it's a horrific situation. We know that. But why continue to dwell on it? You know what I mean? You just got to do your part. That's it. Like, I'm doing my part. I'm being told, stay at home. I'm staying at home. I'm only leaving my house to go get groceries if I have to and coming right back. So just do your part. The more everyone does their part, the faster we're going to come out of this. And touching point on what you just said, Matt, about adapting. Isn't it a beautiful thing how fast our industry adapted? I mean, it was like from a day to another, everyone adapted to this, you know, technology of phone calling through live videos. It was a beautiful thing. So it just goes to show that if you want something hard enough, you're going to make a way of it to happen. That's all it is, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, so I mean, the buyers are still, that's the interesting thing, and it's really, we've eliminated tire kickers from the market. It's interesting what you just said, Juan, as far as doing your part. There's a lot of, as a just like yourselves, I'm an independent contractor, right? So I have the ability to stay home and watch the news all day long, or I can continue to show up every day and provide that level of service to my clients, right? And that's what they hire us for, is for our expertise, our understanding, the knowledge of the market, our negotiation skills, and really holding people's hands through the process, because typically it's someone's biggest investment, whether they're buying or selling.
It is.
So,
It's something I would say to my clients, regardless of the fact, whether you have 20 properties, you own 20 properties already, or whether it's the first property like you are, Tyler, it's a huge investment. Period. So it's very important that we do our due diligence to make sure that we make our clients safe for the long term. I always tell my clients, looking at the business of real estate, it's not a business of a month or two. It's a longevity business. It's something that you got to look at in the 5 to 10 year term. It's same thing. I remember when we met, Tyler. I remember having that conversation with you and telling you, listen, when you go into a property, I don't want you to go in there looking at the property with your heart. Looking at it with your mind. You know what I mean? That's ultimately what's going to help you make the best decision for the long term. And I agree with you 110%, Matt.
So guys, if you could give your top 3 advice to your clients right now, or say people that are just entering this idea of either owning a property or selling a property, I'm going to go to Juan first, and then you, Matt. What are your top 3 tips to put you on the spot?
Okay, my first 3, they're pretty simple, and it's going to be the same regardless of the situation. First of all, don't let fear stop you from pursuing your goals. That's it. I mean, we see it day in and day out. It could be a pandemic, or it could be, the economy being great like it was a few months ago. Fear stops the humankind from investing. So first of all, don't let fear stop you from anything. Be really patient, really patient. Lending guidelines, like I said at the beginning, the lending guidelines are constantly changing due to the current situation. So just be really patient, and let's make sure that whatever it is that you're looking to do, let's have a perfect plan for it. Because we need a perfect plan to be able to execute and get to the finish line. So don't let fear stop you. Let's put a plan in place, and ultimately just follow your gut. If you're still employed, if you're still healthy, hopefully, and your goal is to purchase a house in 2020, that goal is very attainable. And the only thing that can stop you is yourself. So don't let fear stop you. Get really prepared, and patience. That's it. Those are like my 3 things, and they're never going to change regardless of the situation.
Awesome. I think that's really, really good, solid advice, and people can follow that too. Matt, how about you?
Exactly what Juan said. That's it. No, I'm just kidding.
No cheating here.
Hey, I was happy you went to him first. Give me a second to think, right?
There you go.
So, yeah, luckily you can't see me sweating from, I got to answer a question. No, I'm kidding. So I think that, my biggest word of advice, a little bit what Juan was saying is really, what are your goals, right? What are you looking to achieve? And, again, perception is a very powerful tool, and understand where you are and what's going on around you. And how we look at things is we're all a little bit different. If I ask you to, what does it take to get out of your room? It's okay, Matt, I got to stand up. I got to walk over, open up the door, and I walk out, right? It's a pretty simple process. Then I change it on you and I say, okay, Tyler, what does it take to, get on a plane to go to, California? And you say, okay, well, I get up, I walk over, I open the door, I step through, and then there's a whole nother set of steps you're going to take. So understanding, that game that you're playing, and really, like Juan said, having that plan. I think the second thing is, to be educated and knowledgeable as far as where the market is, what some of the changes are, how are you impacted by, like Juan said, some of this information that's changing on a minute-to-minute basis. And then the other thing I would say is really have confidence in the process.
Yes.
That's something that we really specialize in, keeping things, the real estate transaction is very complicated, right? And we want to take the stress out of that transaction and make it as simple as possible and really shield the clients from all the behind the scenes that we're, running around making this all happen. So when I mean have confidence in that process, have the confidence in the process as far as the contingencies that you have throughout that contract, whether it's your mortgage, your due diligence time as far as having your home inspection contingency, having mortgage contingency. That was one thing that people said, what if things happen from point A to C? I have a hiccup here. I lose my job. What happens? My deposit's at jeopardy. And I said, listen, your addendums and your contingencies are going to protect you. So just have that confidence, in the system and all these rules and laws that were put in place to help us maneuver through things like this.
Exactly. And we got to also understand that the processes that most lenders are putting in place are being done for a reason. We're going through something that no one has experience on. I mean, no one in the world has experience on. So first of all, we cannot judge anyone as to how they're handling it, period. Because if there was a map as to how to handle the situation, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in.
Exactly.
Simple as that, right? So we just got to understand that we're going through something that has never ever happened, ever in the history of the world. It's never happened, right? And we just got to figure out how to get out of it. But while still trying to get out of that situation, your goals don't stop. Like yes, you got to get out of a situation, but goals are still here. You got to reach those regardless of the fact. So it's going to be on you whether you want to, be a naysayer and stay at your home and cry about the situation, or it's on you if you're capable of still either work from home or you're still going to work and your goal is to buy a house. It's on you to make that happen. We're going to be here to help you out. Lending's still happening. Rates are still super affordable. Homes are still appraising. Sellers are still looking to sell. Buyers are still looking to buy. It really comes down to whether you want to make it happen or not. No one can make you do anything, but if you're driven and you don't feed into the fear, the universe it's at your fingertips.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even personally speaking, from my perspective right now, I'm in the middle of basically getting the inspection period during of my home buying process, and it took us, I think, 5 months to get here, Matt? Around 5 months?
Longer. I think it's a little longer.
Maybe even a little longer, 6 months.
Yeah.
And so it takes time, but even though I started before this pandemic started and this craziness all happened, it's still moving along and things are still happening. Sellers still want to sell.
Exactly. And just like I had a conversation with Matt last night, I'm all about transparency. I feed off of that. So I'm never going to tell you, hey, this is what we're going to do and then not do it. Yeah. Just last night, I told Matt, I'm like, listen, I'm going to have to figure out what to do with this because they changed the way they look at rental income. Literally, I think, what time was it, Matt, that we're talking? It must have been like 10 o'clock at night, maybe? Literally, I picked up the phone and I started calling all my account representatives. I was like, hey, who's taking rental income? Within 10 minutes, I texted Matt. I said, hey, we're good. I found the lender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I said, like everyone's dealing with
Juan, I hate to cut you off. I don't think it was 10 minutes. I think it was 10 seconds.
Yeah, something like that. I would just send a mass text message independently to everyone to see who will reply to me. And then literally the first person that replied to me is actually someone that I work with a lot. And I'm like, perfect. You know what I mean? So like I said at the beginning, things are changing, but everyone's dealing with it differently. So my advice to you is, I know, Matt, we have a couple clients together, but I'm sure you have a whole pipeline, all over the place. My advice to you and to all the realtors are possibly going to watch this video on my Facebook is have your clients reach out directly to their loan officer, because the way one person's handling it doesn't mean that the other person is handling it the same way. So it's very crucial to understand how everything it's operating right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So there's actually, I definitely want to get into the investment side and the sort of landlord-tenant stuff with you guys. I think, so I know both of you guys are property owners. You guys are both landlords. What's going on in that world? I want both your perspective as a landlord, and also if you have any tips for people that are renters.
Okay.
Or
so All right, so I'll tell you what I did, and I don't know, that's just probably like the type of person that I am. I legit had a conversation with my tenants even before it got really ugly.
Hmm.
Luckily for me, I have a tenant that's in the medical field. I have a Section 8 tenant. I have two Section 8 tenants, and I have a vacancy.
Hmm.
But literally, I called before this whole thing got to the spot where we're in right now. I called all my tenants, and I told them, listen, I understand what's happening. If you can pay me the rent because it's more important for you to put food on the table, hey, so be it. So be it, period. Once we come out of this situation, we'll just start fresh. Day one, first month, we continue on. But that's me. You know what I mean? I appreciate people a lot. I appreciate what people do for me a lot. And I look at my tenants not just as a paycheck. They're humans too. They are. You know what I mean? And fortunately for me, they happen to be my tenants and help me pay for my investment, right?
Hmm.
If for a long period of time, when things are good, they're helping me. Well, now it's my turn to help them. Luckily, and I'm in a good position to be able to say, listen, it's all right. I'll take care of it. We'll figure it out later.
Hmm.
But you know, I don't think that's the reality for the majority tenants of the United States. I think every legislature is dealing with it differently as well. I know we saw Charlie Baker said no evictions, no foreclosures, no, all the stuff that we all know. But once again, I think it's going to come down to independent landlords as to how they want to deal with it. I'm
Yeah.
always about doing the right thing, and I think that's the right thing is to help them. Tenants clearly rent because they're in a position where they can have ownership at that particular point. I'm not saying never, but I'm saying at that particular point. So if they're tenants, it's for a reason. So they struggle a little more than possibly we do.
Yeah.
So it's my duty to help them back. That's the
Yeah.
way I'm doing it.
Yeah. How about you, Matt? What do you think?
So we have same philosophy, a little different approach. Now I feel guilty saying this, however, it is what it is, and that's what makes the world go round because we're all different. My thought, I will echo Juan's sentiment in the sense that, this is not a paycheck as far as running our rental business, right? We get into the rental business, for the ultimate goal of passive income. However, part of our mission statement is really that each person deserves a safe, clean housing, right? Whether that's purchasing a home or living in a rental. So, we look at that very serious. We're part of the Northern Worcester County Landlord Association. We have values and ethics that we uphold through that to make sure we're not the quote unquote slumlords and taking advantage of people. So my big thing is I want to work with people. However, I never want to give things for free because I think people will take advantage of that. So am I going to, rent can't get, luckily all the tenants were able to pay in April, right? We are looking at this economic impact of what's going to happen May, June, July. Now that if some of these people are labor workers or they can't work, what does that look like? So what we're going to do is, we've had conversations with the tenants and just say, okay, let's be upfront. That's anyone that's a tenant of ours. When I sit down with them, I say, listen, we run a business. Unfortunately, your rent passes through to me, passes through to the bank so I can pay the mortgage so that way you can have a house to live in. Exactly. So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, listen, what can you afford? And let's break it up into payments and kind of push it off, to the back end. And that will kind of lead into, one I wanted you to talk about a little bit is this concept of the mortgage forbearance. There's people thinking that, hey, listen, this is great. I don't, so as a tenant thinking, geez, I can't get evicted, so I don't have to pay my rent. So be it. And you know what? I don't have the money to pay my mortgage. They can forbear it for a couple months. I don't have to worry about paying it.
Exactly.
What is this concept of mortgage forbearance, Juan?
Okay, and real quick, I agree with what you just said about not getting anything for free. I agree with that 110%. It's the same conversation I had with them. Just like I told them, as I was like, listen, I'm going to continue to pay my mortgage as long as I can. You know, you have to kill me for me to not pay my bills. Like they're my bills. You know what I mean? So I have to pay. So if you could continue to pay your rent, hey, listen, I would really appreciate it. But if you get to a jam where like you lost your job due to this, hey, let's have a conversation because I'm here to help you. You know what I mean? I'm not just here to collect your paycheck. So I agree with you 110%. And talking about forbearance, very tricky. You know, very tricky conversation based on the fact that of what every politician is saying. They came out and made statements that left a lot of questions in the air. Just like every single lender is dealing with their overlays or their guidelines in a separate way, the same way they're looking at forbearance. But for the most part, the meaning of forbearance, the real meaning of forbearance is you're going to push your payment, or you're going to whatever arrangement you have with the servicer, whether that is pushing the payment out or whether that is cutting the payment by a portion, whatever you qualify for the forbearance deal with the servicer is what you're going to get. But here's the problem. Forbearance does not mean payment forgiveness, right? So let's say you have 3 months, let's say you worked out a deal with your servicer in where your servicer gave you 3 months of freedom to not pay the mortgage back to them.
Yep.
That payment still has to get done. So what's going to happen is I'm going to reach out to you for the most part. Like I said, everyone's dealing with it differently, so don't crucify me. This is just the way forbearance always works. Let's say they gave you those 3 months. On the 4th month, you're going to have to repay the month that is due, the 4th month, plus the 3 months that they gave you of freedom to not pay. So if your mortgage is $3,000, you're going to have to pay 4 months of $3,000 comes the 4th month, unless at that particular point at the end of the forbearance, you can work up another deal with the servicer. So very important to keep that in mind. So forbearance does not mean payment forgiveness. My advice would be is call your servicer directly. Call them directly. I always say it, and I always say it, Tyler, I said it to you. Do not go to mom and dad, the neighbor, your uncle for advice. Don't do it. That's how problems start, right? So please call your servicer. It will take you whatever it takes you. It could take you an hour on the phone. It could take you 10 minutes. But I'd much rather have you wait on the phone for an hour and get the facts from your particular servicer. Because if Mr. Cooper is dealing with it differently, doesn't mean that Penny Mac is going to deal with it the same way, right? Yeah. Please call your servicer. It's really, really important. I have made it a point over the past 3 weeks, even before it became a thing that everyone's talking about forbearance. I've been putting it out there. Be really careful. Be really careful. Like I said, that's like the broad meaning of forbearance, but everyone's dealing with it differently. So my advice is call your servicer directly and find out exactly what it is that they're looking to help you with.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Juan. That's awesome. I want to back up just a little bit real quick. I saw the opportunity to jump into that point of it. So as far as the investment side, one thing I just wanted to put out there is on Monday, we are having a Zoom call with our office. Yanri, who's our team leader, is going to be doing a podcast with Brian Lucier, who is the manager or the property manager. He's the property manager for Bel Air Property Solutions. Sorry, I'm all tongue-tied right now. I'm going to back up. I'm losing it.
All right, it's all right.
So anyway, some guy is going to be talking about something. So Brian's also the president of the Northern Worcester County Landlord Association, and he's doing a little thing called Revive Your Rental Health, just talking about how he's dealing with tenants, and just kind of have an open forum of question and answers. So
Matt, before you continue, I want to send a big shout out to Todd Bitter. Todd Bitter, it's a mortgage legend. He's a one-man shop. I think he just hired someone. I think I saw. I've never met him in person, but we all know who he is. He joined our Facebook Live, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. The guy.
Oh, nice.
Things that it are just incredible to like what a whole company does. He does by himself. And
wow.
Production, volume, you name it. So he's a good guy to have in your database, in your contact. He's been giving out a lot of content. And I just want to thank him for joining and watching. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. And Juan, I'll get his contact information offline, so that we don't blow up his phone unless that's what he wants.
Matt, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about mindset. I know like this whole mortgage thing, it's very complicated, and like the big takeaway from this is, first of all, options are there, affordability is there, rates are low, prices haven't really, you tell me about prices, Matt. I haven't really seen them move, but I'm sure, you're more in touch with that portion of the industry, but I haven't seen it move all that much. I think is maybe we're lucky where we're focus our business on the demographic we're in. But you tell me a little bit about that. What have you seen in the markets?
Yeah, things are still strong. Like I said, this whole thing has just really eliminated the tire kickers. Now that we're not doing group showings or open houses, things of that nature, schedules are getting they're very, very tight as far as showings. We have a back end system called Showing Time, so we can go in to request a showing, and there's a challenge sometimes getting your request in there. With the lack of the tire kickers and the people that are very serious, there's been some people that have cooled off, and again, how we all perceive this and work through this, like that's okay. And that's something we've been talking about. And I'm glad you said it, Juan. Like, this is, we work really hard not to judge people on a day-to-day basis. However, this is 100% no judgment as far as how you're handling this and what you're doing going through this. So we're still seeing multiple offers. We're still seeing over asking. Maybe we're not seeing 10 offers coming in. Maybe we're seeing 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. Things are still very strong. We're lucky enough that we assist on the buy and the sell side. Like I said, probably 90% of our clients are still moving forward, going out there to see properties in a very safe manner. And, the sellers are, not sure when they should go on the market because, we've had this little hiccup. And really our advice to them is get on the market now, because as things move down, the competition is going to become greater, greater, and greater. So things are holding steady, and that's like I said, when it comes to so many things, the natural tendency is to look on a national level and say, what's going on, right? All that data is important for all different industries. Yep. However, what you do, Juan, what we do, Tyler, it's hyper local. So we have to really, stay on top of what's going on, every single, we were doing it before, but now, we've 10x'd it as far as really looking at all the key performance indicators, what's happening, and, what happened this time last year, and where is the market right now. And, there's still, things are moving, and, there's, we all wish we had the crystal ball way before this, as far as all the questions of real estate. The other day I pinned my broker, into the corner asking her questions, because I said, all right, here's someone that's been, has had so much experience, like she's going to have all the answers. And she just kept pushing back saying, Matt, I haven't been through this before, and I said, well, what about this? And she said, I haven't been through this before, because I was looking for that. No one has the magic answer.
Yeah. No one does. And I think it's very important to, especially us in the field, to constantly I was obsessed with keeping up with everything prior to this. You can only imagine how I am right now. I'm like jumping on every live feed that I can find. I'm reading about, stuff that pertains to my industry, to be able to keep the industry moving forward. I think I was reading. I read a lot. I read a lot of motivational stuff, and I read a lot of mindset stuff. And I think I read something from this guru, right? This mystic guru, that said the new illiterates of the new world will be those that cannot adapt to the new circumstances. So I'll be honest with you. I've been doing live meetings like this with my clients for a year. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, this is normal. You know what I mean? Like, if my client can meet me for whatever reason and they want to have a physical contact, let's jump on a FaceTime. Let's jump on a GoToMeeting or something. You know what I mean? Like, the technology is there. And I think the big problem that we're seeing is that people are so stuck in their own ways that they don't want to get out of their ways to continue to move forward. Just because you can't go see a house doesn't mean you can buy one. If you buy a Tesla online, why can't you buy a house? It's just the mindset, like the way you look at things. If you're okay with buying an expense, because that's what it is, a car is an expense, $150,000 car at that, right? And you're shopping online, you can even test drive the damn thing. What's so wrong with purchasing a property that's going to generate some money to your pocket? You know, so you just got to be able to adapt. That's all it is, adaptation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one, like I had said at the beginning of the call, when, you know, that night that we had come to the office and meeting with Mike and just talking about mindset, you know, we share a lot of the same philosophies as far as, you know, the motivation and the self-help books of, you know, that industry. You know, what are some things, you know, I was always impressed. You're a very charismatic person, tons of information, you know, always there for us. What are you doing? You know, what's your day look like now? And what are you doing to protect yourself from the outside world and protect yourself from all that, you know, negativity that's out there?
All right, so my day really hasn't changed. I'm a very routine type of person, and I need structure. If I don't have structure, man, I'm all over the place. I'm still getting up at 3:45, 4 in the morning, like I always do.
Oh my God.
I never set an alarm. My body just wakes up. Doesn't mean I'm not sitting here and saying that I'm getting up to work at 4 in the morning. I'll be lying. But I'm up at 4 in the morning. Whatever, whether it's watching TV or whether it's a podcast or reading, I'm still getting up at that time. I had fell off of exercising a lot. I mean, I've always been huge into exercising, and over the last year, I had probably the most unhealthiest year of my life. I completely, well, and also because the focus drifted. You know what I mean? And the focus is still to continue to grow the business. But what this quarantine has helped me do, and I think you and me were talking about it, man, it is actually helped me get in tune with myself again. So I'm using this time of solitude, of being alone, to find myself again, to find that inner peace, to have conversations with myself, to kind of learn how to control my unconscious thoughts. You know what I mean? Like the second something negative comes in, is like being able to shut that off. Like I told you, like if you ask me how many cases of coronavirus are in the United States, not out of ignorance, just because I don't want to fit into it, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I know we're going through a very horrific time, but I'm just choosing myself not to focus on that. You know what I mean? So my routine's still the same. I'm actually exercising way more now than I was, you know, a month ago. Focusing on my health, focusing on my mental health, and try to just tap into you know, portions of my brain that no one ever does, and using this time to really find that self-love again, that self-respect, and that's going to translate to the people that I come in touch with, to my clients, to my partners, to my attorneys, to everyone, because I'm using this time to become way more happier with myself than what I already was. And I think that's what everyone should be doing. I mean, easier said than done, but if you can just focus on that, I'm telling you, it's going to change. I mean, yes, I mean, I'm a person, I leave my house every single day at 8 in the morning, and I'm not coming back to 10 o'clock at night, every single day, right? So you can only imagine me being trapped in a house, you know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is, you know what I mean? You got to adapt. You got to adapt to the circumstances, and that's just the way I always look at everything.
Yeah, you said a couple of things that were really interesting, you know, as far as the the mindset and as far as those thoughts coming into your mind. You know, we're not able to control that first thought that comes in. However, we are able to control that second, third, fourth thought that comes in. You know, and that's really important to, you know, to control your mind, that and be aware that when that negativity comes in, you know, you can snap your fingers right away and switch that, right? And you know, there's a lot of people that are having a hard time, you know, getting out of their own way right now. And we always recommend, you know, just start thinking about, you know, we're all about gratitude, right? And that's, you know, I'll be honest with you, Juan, we fell off of the bandwagon. You know, we have a morning routine. We kind of follow the Miracle Morning from Hal Elrod, that book. And one of my coaches last year was talking about how the brain takes about 3 hours to get going, right? So he said, if you're waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're not ready till 10, right? So then, and when we were confused for about a week, maybe we were hitting the snooze bar, kind of fell out of had the girl.
But that's okay. But that's okay too. You know what I mean? Because that's sanity. You know what I mean? Like if we're already used to, I might wake up even when it's not like a pandemic going on. If I feel like sleeping in till 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to do it. Like who's telling me I can do that? Who's saying that if I choose to one day in the week wake up at 10 in the morning, who's saying that I'm unproductive? I think that's the biggest misconception with humankind is that like we focus on the stuff that we're not supposed to focus on. I think it's 20% of your energy in your body. It's spent by your thoughts. So if 20% of your energy is being wasted on your thought process, well, why not focus that 20% of energy that you're wasting on positive things? Because imagine this, if 20% is already being used by your thought process, so 20% of your calories are burned by just thinking, why make it even hard like that? Why make that thought process even harder? You know what I mean? So I always try to have like, and I'm not saying that I don't have unpleasant thoughts because we all do, we're humans, but I try to minimize that as much as I can because it just translates to everything that I come in touch with.
We're fortunate enough that you and I are part of a mindset coaching program with a gentleman by the name of Brian Del Maso. It's really there's a gentleman by the name of Bob Proctor.
I know Bob Proctor. I read his book. Great book. He actually no, I'm thinking of the wrong person. I'm sorry, but it's also a Bob.
So yeah, his whole thing is it's really a deep dive into the book Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And it really has to do. The entire premise is all about our conscious mind. That what we put our thought energy into, when we fixate on that is going to get programmed into our subconscious. Mm-hmm. Subconscious mind is really what controls our actions and our behavior, right? So, that's for us, that's been really important. And like you said, as far as keeping a routine, that's been super, super critical as far as, basically, we're waking up early, we're doing some exercise, we're doing some meditation, we're doing our affirmations, we're journaling, we're reading, we're studying some of the program we're part of called Thinking into Results. Then, having breakfast with the kids, on a Zoom call with our team, jump on a Zoom call with our entire office, and then just dive into the day. Just keeping that schedule, and that's really helped. And I'm the same way. I got that structure. I started working from home, when I first was a real estate agent and crashed and burned, so, yeah. and again, being, not really knowing what was going on, I kind of wavered through that. And so then, I ended up renting an office out of the Keller Williams office in Westford. And it's been interesting not having the team right there and not having everyone there. However, like we said, we've adapted and, Keller Williams has invested, billions into our technology platform that we're really proud to be a part of. And then you take this other technology as far as Zoom calls and everything else just to stay in contact. And it's fascinating to see what's it going to look like when we get out of this, right? And what does the world look like? Because we're not going back to the way it was.
Mm-hmm. We're not. And here's the thing. I mean, we got to understand that we're in fear right now. We're in panic mode, and we're going to be in panic mode for years to come. But once again, it's on you whether you want to fit into the panic mode or not. Yes, be cautious. Cautious does not mean fear, right? So yes, be cautious, but don't feed into the panic. Don't be the one that's keeping track with how many cases, how many deaths, because I mean, Jesus, like you're just wasting your whole day on this stuff. And then where's your productivity? So you know what I mean? So you still need to be proactive. You still need to produce. You still need to have a life. You're still a human. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's focus on the things that you can control. Like you could control being healthy by staying at your house. You could control, looking for ideas as to how to grow your business. I mean, all you need is a phone with an internet connection. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're not evolving right now or not keeping up with what's happening, connection. You know what I mean? So it's like when things come back around and you got left behind, you just got to go like this. Be a thumb pointer. You know what I mean? We at the office, there's a gentleman named Matt Ishvia. He's the CEO of United Wholesale Mortgage, the biggest wholesale lender in the country. The guy's 40 years old. His name is Matt Ishvia, but his biggest thing is about be a thumb pointer. That's it. Like if you didn't get ahead right now, and when we come out of this mess, you got left behind. Well, whose fault was that? You decided to sit in your couch, watch the news about what's going on with the virus, and you forgot to produce. That's the reality of it. You know what I mean? And we can all get ahead. It's all up to you. I live my life in two choices, Matt. I only give myself two choices. Either I want to do it or I don't. But ultimately, it's my choice. That's it. It's nobody else's, you know?
Yeah, and just to add to that, I mean, you can really take control in little ways before you ramp up into big things. So, like for me, when this all first started happening and I was quarantined, I was eating like crazy. And I'm sure a lot of people can, totally relate to this. I was just like pizzas every single day, whole pizzas to myself, ice cream, just, yeah, it was insane. I mean, I think, wait, what?
Good job.
Yeah. So, just demolishing food. And then I
Hopefully
made
you're
the
washing that
decision-
down with a couple cold beers, Tyler.
I was. I
maybe.
sure was.
and I feel like everyone's in that kind of headspace right now where we're all like, we all might be feeling a certain way. We're all stressed out. A lot of us are feeling this in different ways, but a lot of us are taking it out in certain ways. Like I just lost control when it came to eating. And so
Tyler, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's.
Let me rephrase the question. Why do you think every single person, every single human, it's resorting to that response, to eating like crap, to getting drunk every day, to all this other stuff? Well, why do you think that is?
Well, I think one, dopamine. To be scientific here with the answer, I think people are looking for things that make them feel happy, right? I think it's accessible. So I think right now there's a lot of people that are bored or feeling that way, that they're bored. And so that's an activity that they can do that sort of makes them feel better and takes up time. And then I think also a lot of people are, to speak for myself, I think, I was locked up in the house for a while and I was afraid to even go outside for a long time. It was almost like micro agoraphobia where I was afraid to leave into the world.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I decided this past week was like, no, I'm not gonna let that little, it seems like a little thing, but food can really control a lot of what you're doing in your habits. So now I'm back to 2 meals a day with a snack, and I've cut down on my calories. I was trying to diet before for my hockey season, and now I'm back to that. And so just having that structure of, I'm eating now because I need the food, not because I'm eating because I'm a glutton or I'm feeling emotional or whatnot. It's really, but that sort of choice has changed my whole workday.
Awesome.
And so I think for people that might be struggling with sort of reining in their productivity, I think just a small change like that, just think about something that you can control, food, your exercise, what your day looks like, and then make that one change and see if that change sort of creates a chain reaction. So
I agree 110%. What about you, Matt? What's your thoughts on this?
I think it's my gut feeling on it is just that with so much things that are out of our control, there's little things that we can control as far as like, I can eat whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. I can sit on the couch as much as I want. Same thing as kind of the panic buying. People like, all right, what can I control? I can control as much toilet paper as I can, right? And I think, like Tyler said, as far as, kind of goes back to that comfort food and just what can you do to make yourself feel better? And that's, my personal opinion. And I went through the same thing, and we just started doing this couch to 5K thing, which is killing my quads because I'm not. So, I think that, it really goes back to, making a safe choice, and I think that, in life, that's one of the worst things you can do is play it safe, and you always want to expand your comfort zone and get into a place that you know doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And also, like, I look at it this way. I find that, see, I was digging to the deeper thing, the deeper meaning of things. And I think it goes back to majority of us humans are not happy with our thought process. So we automatically resort to negative inputs, right? So we automatically, when you're down, your first reaction is, okay, I need a beer. You know, when you know you're alone, I need company. I need to go text a buddy and go to the bar. I think we need to use this time to, like I said, just be in tune with yourself, be in tune with who you are, get to know yourself. Because if you don't understand like the thoughts that are going through your mind, then how can you even go hang out with somebody else? Because then that's just going to be a vicious cycle of toxicity. You know what I mean? It's two toxic people that are not happy with their individuality coming together. It's like, so you need to be happy as an individual before you even attempt to go hang out with other people, because then you're just going to fit into their negativity, and then that person is going to fit into your negativity. So I think it's very important to, like, okay, you start feeling like down. All right, well, start figuring out why. Why are you feeling down? Like, look for the problem, because it's a cause effect. A problem brings a reaction. So if you have a problem, we'll find the reason as to why the problem started, and we know what the problem is, and we can control it. So why even dwell on it? Well, okay, well, now let me figure out, if this is the problem, well, how can I make myself happy? I think I was reading something to you earlier out of a passage that I did. It's that it was something along the lines that said, you know, even people in prison have parties in their cells. You know what I mean? So it's like, why can't I be happy being in my house where I have all the luxuries, the TV, the Wi-Fi, the comfortable bed, warm food? What's so bad about that? You know what I mean? Like, I think we take for granted the little things that really matter. You know, a roof over your head, food to eat. You know, at least you had money to go buy toilet paper. What about those that don't? You know what I mean? So it can always be so much worse. It can always be like you can take it to the extreme, and someone's situation can always be worse than you. So just take some time, and this is my advice, and take it or not for anyone that's watching, is just find some time to be in tune with yourself. Take some time to get to know yourself. You know, nowadays with the technology and everything being so accessible to our fingertips, I think it's so easy to fit into like this fast life that we live. And we never take some time to really sit back and analyze who we are. We always take time to analyze who the neighbor is or who the guy on social media is. But what does that really mean to you, right? So take some time to analyze who you really are. Because the second you get to know who you are, you'll start accomplishing things that are unattainable. And people will say that, well, it's so easy for you to say. Well, no, because you know, a few years ago, I had the same thought process. And that's the beautiful thing about a thought process. It's a thought of yours. So if it's your thought process, how can you blame somebody else about how you're feeling for yourself? You know what I mean? So that's just the way I look at it. Just everyone be positive. Everything comes to an end. Life comes to an end. You know what I mean? So this will come to an end, and we just got to be ready for when it does. And that's it. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, Juan, we're coming up on an hour here. I think we could talk all day long. However,
Absolutely.
You know, I chuckle because, you know, we're actually working right now, right?
Yep.
Which is a kind of a funny thing, and I'm very blessed to be able to have this type of environment to be able to work. And you know, we really appreciate your time. I'm glad you backed up and changed your camera a little bit so we could see the Premier Mortgage Lending logo.
Yep.
Yeah. Juan, can you just a selfless plug? What's the best way for people to get in contact with you if they have any questions as far as the mortgage?
Super easy. So anywhere you go on social media, you're gonna find me as Juan Pablo Palacio. Super easy, Juan Palacio everywhere. my phone number. I'm always posting my phone number everywhere. I love to be easily accessed. I don't want to be that guy. I hate being that guy that's really hard to get in touch with. Getting in touch with me is super easy. Like literally, like you can message me, email me, send me. I'm always gonna get back to you. So social media is gonna be just my name, Juan Palacio, everywhere. It has the same picture both on Facebook and Instagram, so you know it's gonna be me. My phone number is 978-746-1125. That's my direct cell phone number, 978-746-1125. That phone is always on my hand. It never leaves. Tyler can tell you, when he met with me, my phone never left my hand. It's always in my hand. It never leaves. So I'm always going to be able to answer you. And my email is just my first name, Juan, Juan, at PML Home Loans. Once again, Juan at PML Home Loans. I'm always answering. I never set an out of office, even if I'm on vacation. So I just want to be easily reached.
Yeah. Yep.
So you tell me at 5 o'clock you don't shut down and that's it?
What's 5 o'clock?
And that's true. I've texted you one at like 6 p.m., 6:30. I'm at a restaurant, and literally 5 minutes later, all of a sudden, I have a text back from you. So
yeah, and sometimes it might take me a little longer, but that's because I'm also getting back to a million other people. But believe me, I will get back to you, and I will get back to you. And if I don't know the answer to what you're asking me, I'm not gonna, how they say, I'm not gonna BS you an answer. I'll much rather tell you, hey, listen, I don't know the answer to that. Let me go dig it out, and I'll come back to you with a solution. And that way, we're all on the same page.
Absolutely.
And one last question, as far as people that are unfamiliar with you or Premier, what sets you apart from the competition? What is some key points about your company?
Literally who we are. It's literally it. I'm always a strong believer that if you're in the mortgage world, right, pretty much you have access to all the Fannie and Freddie products, right? It just comes down as to the fancy name you want to give the program. So ultimately, we all have the same programs. Rates are the rates. Can't control the rates. So anyone that says, "Oh, such and such rates are so much lower," no, well, you're paying for it somehow. You just don't know it. So that's that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I have this program or did not. What sets us apart is a couple of things. First of all, who we are as a company, the energy we bring, who we are as humans, our transparency, our honesty, us telling you if we're going to do something, we're going to do it. Being a man of word, if I tell you this is what we're going to do, that's what we're going to do. Simple, right? Always answering our phones. We're not the type of people that hide behind our phones. Even if there's a problem, I don't care how big the problem is. I'm going to be the first person picking up that phone and giving you a call, telling you, hey, Matt, we have this problem, but here's how we're going to fix it, right? Ultimately, our process. That's the most essential thing. That's what it comes down to. So we have a staff of amazing processors. So shout out to my processing team from Premier Mortgage Lending. These girls are phenomenal. Like, they know what they're doing more than anybody else in the mortgage business. I mean, all these girls in our team have been in the industry for years. I mean years, right? So they know mortgages in and out. They know how to break down bank statements to the T. So we'll never miss anything, ever. So another thing is our process is very streamlined. So it starts with us, obviously, the loan officers. We're the ones that look at interest rates. We shop for the mortgage. We put you in the best package for yourself as an individual. So one package doesn't fit all. It has to be very individualized and customized. So that's number one. It starts with me. From there, it goes down to my processor, Melissa. Her job is to make sure that the second I send her that file, instantly she's getting that file going. So the file is not just a file sitting on a desk collecting dust. It's always being worked on. Once Melissa finishes her process, it's a funnel. It's a funnel, right? Then from there, it goes to pre-underwriter. Our pre-underwriter, Renee. Her job is to kind of guess how, like, what the underwriter is going to do. You know what I mean? What the underwriter is going to request. So by the time the underwriter comes back with something, she already has it, right? So that already eliminates a week out of the process, right? And then from there, it goes to the back-end process, which is the processing, the end of the line. And there's a couple of girls in there as well that, depending on the amount of files that they have, they'll get another file. So once again, there's never a jam. So no one's ever waiting for work, and no one's ever not working. So the files are constantly being flipped. And then on top of that, a very important component that this is where it impacts you guys, the real estate agents, the closing process. So just like we have a setup person, we have a closer. And this girl's a genius because she's like the only one, and I think I introduced you to everyone, Matt, at the office. Her job is literally to make sure that by the time we get to the closing table with that client, that wire is already there. So that's her job. So we doing an average of 100 loans a month. She's one of the only people in the office that touches 100 loans a month. And she makes sure that those 100 loans are funded and ready to go by the time we get to the closing table. So there's never a jam in the process, ever. So that's what makes it so different from everybody else. Everybody else is hiring, remote processors that are across the country. Everybody else, it's waiting for their one processor to clear their whole pipeline. The loan officers processing loans. I don't process loans. My job is to be a loan officer. A loan officer's job is to understand the mortgage process, understand the programs to their full capacity, and understand the market, the current market.
That sounds great. Yeah, one of the reasons I really enjoy our relationship, I know that we wake up every day to help people, and that's the same thing that you do. I mean, it's not about that's all what it is. That's in our little phrase for our team Legacy Star is guiding the way to real estate dreams, right? So just being there to advise people and just wake up to help people every day. So I agree,
man. I agree. Hey, it's great seeing you guys, man. I miss you guys.
I know. It's great to see you.
We can get together and have some pizza and some beer.
Yeah. When this is all over, Juan, we'll come up to Salem and we'll use the actual.
For sure. Absolutely. I mean, we can shoot at some pool, play some ping pong, some cool videos, hang out for a little bit. I'd love to.
That sounds awesome. Sounds really good.
Guys.
Yeah.
Well, the pool and the ping pong and all that's actually play. So we have to work and then we'll do those things.
Well, yeah. I mean, is it?
Yeah, that's true. We're networking, right?
You'll find me originating loans in that room more than you'll find me in my cubicle. So you'll be surprised at the magic that happens in that room.
That's awesome.
So, Juan, do you play golf?
I'm getting into it. I'm not good, but I can hit the ball and I can have a good time. So if you ever want to bring me out there, I'll play best ball with you. I'll be able to hit the ball and have a great time.
Awesome. All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for your time. Continue being safe. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter.
Same to you, Matt. We're still celebrating it nonetheless. So happy Easter to you and your family. And thank you for having me on. It really means a lot to me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Right back at you, man.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy. Bye-bye.